Most of the time, scar revision means to remove that scar, literally excise the scar, and then stitch it up nicely. That's the first and probably applies to the majority of the people. And when we do that, they're going to form another scar, but it's going to be much better than the initial scar. Some patients, when you do this, they still develop another scar that comes back just as thick and just as prominent and just as noticeable. So in these patients, just removing that scar again is not going to do it. They may need some other treatment, and many times I also inject, along with scar revision, a medication called cortisone. Cortisone tends to flatten out these scars. In some patients who come in initially, cortisone injection is all they may need instead of scar revision. Cortisone tends to flatten out the scar, it reduces inflammation, it sort of breaks down the collagen in the scar and flattens it and smooths it out. Cortisone can be done, but in certain patients who have really resistant scars that are super thick, that they've had several scar revisions and it's coming back thicker and thicker, this type of scar we may call a keloid. Keloid is now a scar that's really thick and exceeds the boundary of what the scar was. These are actual tumors, they're growth. These type of scar, if you remove it, they're gonna come right back. If you're gonna take care of this kind of a scar, I end up actually removing the scar and do radiation at the same time. Many people know radiation is done for cancer, but radiation can be done for this kind of a scar because this kind of a scar is actually like a tumor. Patients undergo just a removal of the scar and scar revision, follow it up with 3 treatments of radiation. Radiation will sort of suppress the tissue and the scar tissue from coming back. And this has been very effective in treating patients with very bad scars and very thick scars. Again, I don't go to this right away. Radiation itself has certain complications, but these days, the radiation oncologists have a great tool. They just literally radiate just that area. It's called closed field radiation, so they don't expose the patient to other parts of the body. However, again, this type of procedure with radiation, I try to reserve as a last resort. Generally, most of the patients are amenable to removing the scar and closing it really nicely with the smallest stitches that don't react with the skin as much.